Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of HealingStars.com. This is the chart. It's a total lunar eclipse, 8th of November 2022, set for London 11:02. This eclipse was not visible in the UK, contrary to some things I've seen on Facebook, but certainly would have been visible in the US. The reason it's not visible is where is the moon? It's below the horizon here. And this is about the moon. Now, we have at the moment a huge group of planets side by side. So we have, that's the south node, Mercury, the Sun and Venus. All of them in the sign of Scorpio. And a full moon, which it is a full moon, is always in the opposite sign. So here's the node, the north node in Taurus. There's the moon and there's Uranus. Now, Uranus, first of all, is unpredictable. It really is. No one can predict what Uranus is going to do. It's a very unusual orbit. It's on its side. It doesn't follow the rules. And what have we got here? This is called a T-square, where we've got all these red lines challenging, and here we have Saturn. Saturn is now moving forward. It's 18 degrees of Aquarius. Uranus is still retrograde at 16 degrees of Taurus. So they're still in this very, very stressful configuration of what we call a square. So this is challenging. Before I go into the other planets, but one thing about Saturn is completion. And it's something that I know that I am not that good at doing, and I'm really looking at that seriously right now. Because Saturn wants structure. It likes the sign of Aquarius. It's very what we call happy there, to do with humanity, to do with networking, to do with groups of people. It naturally is to do with the 11th house of a chart. So getting those structures in place, really, really key right now. As I said, Uranus is unpredictable. It's right next to the moon and that north node, pardon me. So Uranus wants sudden change. Now that doesn't have to be negative. Change can be very positive. And the moon in Taurus is exalted. That means it's in the best sign it can possibly be. And if this was the chart of a country, you'd say the people. So the people, the moon, could be revolting or revolutionary, shall we say, not revolting. But certainly it's about the future. And lo and behold, right now there's a summit on climate change. That's very relevant to Taurus. It really speaks clearly about countries coming together to tackle this crisis, because it is. Coming back to the south node, Scorpio, Mercury there is the Sun, Venus, all of that is about the past, the south node. So we are being asked to let go of the past. We also have Mercury in a good relationship. Is it in a good relationship? It was. I don't think it is now, but it's right in the middle. It's very close to the Sun. So it's combust, and another word is Kazumi. That can either be great genius or over, not seeing the details. And all of that Scorpio energy connects up to Mars. Mars, here it is, Mars, it's now retrograde. It's in Gemini. And if you notice that dotted green line to Pluto, it is a letting go aspect. There's also another dotted green line, if you look down here, to Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer archetype, is still retrograde in Aries. So Aries is if you have Chiron in Aries, it's approximately 50 years. So you're in your early 50s right now. You're having what they call a Chiron return. And that is in that difficult relationship with Mercury. I titled that Letting Go of Old Soul Wounds, which might be coming up for you right now, especially with Mars and the modern day ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, in Capricorn. I just think of that really is the climate crisis. Now, Mars also is in a difficult relationship right now to both Neptune and Jupiter. It is. So Mars is about action, and in Gemini it's about words, communications. And because it's retrograde in Gemini, it's spending about 7 months in Gemini. So your chart will be activated wherever Mars is travelling. It goes retrograde roughly every 2 years. Over here, with the South Node and Mercury and the Sun, Venus is invisible right now. You can see there's the Sun at 16, there's Venus at 20. Venus needs to be about 10 degrees away from the Sun to be able to be visible. However, Venus is now beginning, not yet, to be an evening star. And when Venus is an evening star, she is that diamond in the sky. She'll become visible on the 1st of December. I can't wait. It'll be great. So what else do I want to know about this particular lunar eclipse? Well, the degree, and the degree is 13, 16 degrees, there it is, lasts about a month. A solar eclipse degree lasts about 6 months. So you might be feeling this right now if you have any planet at 16 degrees of any sign, but especially of Scorpio. The South Node degree is also relevant, South Node, North Node, because they can actually activate transits in your chart, so that's something to look out for. When it was earlier this year, I became pretty bad cold at the time. I'm just going to show you quickly the recent, obviously the solar eclipse, current chart and grid. Here it is. So that's the 25th of October, and here you can see that degree was 2 degrees of Scorpio, right next to Venus, right next to Venus. There's that South Node at 13 Scorpio. At that time, we had a good relationship of Mars with Mercury. So that is Mars in Gemini, Mercury's sign. Mercury is in the sign of Venus, diplomacy, positive energies. But even so, we've got a lot of letting go to do. If you notice all those dotted green lines, it's nowhere near as difficult as this particular chart. So I noticed, I've had problems with emails, anything technological is also to do with Uranus. It's very much about lightning, thunderstorms, which we've had here in the UK. But also I want to point out now, Jupiter has retrograded back into Pisces, and that's a sign that Jupiter is happy in. Planets could be happy or not so happy, but certainly Jupiter it won't join Neptune again, but it's close to Neptune, and that is a very powerful spiritual connection. To go for the higher ground, to go for the faith of your connection to spirit, transformational as well, because we've also got that Pluto energy. If you notice here, Pluto in a dotted blue line, which means positive, is connecting up with Jupiter right now. So the future is Jupiter. Jupiter is the massive planet, and last week I saw it. There was the moon getting to be full, and Jupiter was there in the night sky, very close. It was a clear evening. That's the whole problem with planets. If it's a dark or cloudy or windy or rainy night, you can't see the planets. And it's important to acknowledge that they are still there. So let's bide our time, know that Venus is rising as the evening star. 1st of December, we will see it after sunset, of course, but certainly this particular trying to think of the right word, but I can't think of it. Connection, all these planets, they're personal. They're very personal. Mercury is close to the Sun, always. Venus is always close to the Sun. So this is whatever's going on in your mind right now, what you're reading, And the US elections, of course, are on this particular day. And I was praying 2 years ago for a good result in the US. I'm praying now as well. Because what happens in America does affect us here in the UK. Across the pond, it's still relevant. And I do believe very strongly the power of our creative minds to ask for a miracle, to focus on that Scorpio energy. I am a sun sign Scorpio, just had my birthday, and Scorpio is the scorpion, the eagle, and then the dove. The only sign with 3 symbols. So the dove is also the phoenix, the evolution of Scorpio to rise above with vision, the eagle, to the highest, the dove of peace. Thank you for watching. Pam Carruthers of Healing Stars. Oh, and if you're watching this, I'm also offering a special soul astrology consultation, special offer. It ends on the 10th of November at midnight, so you might still have time to catch up with me. Love to meet you. Thank you for watching. Pam Carruthers, HealingStars.com.